Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a Dadbod to Daddy training vlog, and today was shoulder day. So pretty much what I said I'm doing this week, we're going to keep reps a little bit higher. I'm going to focus on almost just pure bodybuilding for a little while in my training. We're going to do a lot of reps. Obviously, we start mostly with the big movements, right? We always start with our big barbell movements, and then we go down towards isolation work. So on the shoulder day here, I do want to make sure I work all the heads of the delts, although I am going to definitely prioritize, obviously, side delts because I do multiple types of rows and I do wide grip pull-ups, so rear delts do get some work. I'm doing a lot of incline work, so my front delts are getting hit pretty hard. In fact, they still have DOMs from Monday. So in that case for today, we're just going to do one exercise for front delts. Okay, just one, and that's going to be the seated press. And notice I took the weight down so I can get 10s. Normally I've been working with 135 on this, but again, I'm going to continue to cut. Everything is going good there. Obviously today I've noticed the skin's a little looser. But that's okay. Again, it's continued to tighten up over time, so we're just going to keep working on it as we get leaner. And some of that could be because I'm carbed up and salted up, but weight's holding good. But again, I know that that's going to continue to get tighter. We just have to keep working. So with these, again, we did 10s, trying to pause at the bottom on each one of these, bring them to a dead stop. Again, trying to avoid any sort of momentum if we can. So again, focusing on trying to build muscle. So yeah, everything today was mostly in about the 10 to 15 rep range. The only thing that really hit 15 was rear delts. So for the overhead presses, which were again seated, and I feel like that carries over really well to my incline. Notice my front delts are actually looking pretty decent there. We just need to really bring up those side and rear delts. And then obviously arms, so I have an arm day, of course. As I continue to get leaner, I feel like if just my arms improve, particularly triceps, little side, little rear delt, I'm going to be in a really good place here once I get down under 200 pounds. So again, we're going to hammer those areas. Again, another reason shoulders and arms get their own day every week. I need them to make sure they get that. Now, keeping in mind, arms are getting worked on all these other days. Because again, you look at the shoulder day, well, seated press and upright rows are going to give some secondary stress to the arms. Of course, my grip and forearms get trained every day pretty much, just about, just because of the nature of the way I train. So here, I like to do my upright rows with a closed grip. I know we could make the case for possibly more side delt with a really wide grip, but as long as I'm pretty well reaching muscle failure, probably doesn't matter. And I just personally find these a little more comfortable. Plus, we can make the case of a little more trap. I've had some people point out, my traps could use some work, even though I want this to be very delt biased. That's what we're doing. So again, we hit 10s on all those. Pretty well was hitting failure right there at the end on rep 10. Laterals, doing what I've been doing lately. I just like to use plates on these. They're more comfortable for me. And I feel like because I'm not having to squeeze the dumbbell to hold it, right? Because again, you'll see that with I've seen a lot of bodybuilders point that out, that looser grip on the dumbbell seems to allow a little better flow with getting the pinky up and everything. I don't always find that's the case, and it's because of my powerlifting background. I want to just squeeze everything. It's just a natural instinct when I grab a bar to just crush it as hard as I possibly can, right? To the point where I'd be ripping skin off my hands on an empty bar. Because, again, the nature of that training, I just instinctively do that. So I find with the plates that for me, it's easier for me to get that pinky up a little bit on those and to really make sure that we're taking the focus away from the front delt. Because that's what we have to be careful of, is that if the thumb gets too much higher up, it ends up turning more into a front delt exercise. So for this, I want to lean forward just a hair, and I try to focus on bringing the pinky up just a little bit, not much, so that we hit the side delts really hard here. So again, this is where, we have 2 exercises for the side delts. Now, if you look at the actual research, rear delt exercises hit the side delts pretty hard, and a lot of front delt exercises do. So just put it in perspective, we really are getting Obviously, multiple exercises here. Everything is pretty much hitting the side delts, all 12 sets, right, of the delt exercises. Because, the seated press, the rear delt stuff, it does hit that. But those two are really focused on it more. So we're making sure we get 6 exercises that are direct side delt work, and everything else is a little more secondary. Although, again, the rear delt stuff, we could argue, is primary. And I've seen guys like Dr. Mike point that out too. So again, really though, and I think we should count rear delt work for side delts, that gives us 9 sets. All right. And if we don't count the front delt work, but keep in mind all that incline work, all the overhead pressing is putting some stress there, but puts us in a good place. So then shrugs. So I did 12s on the laterals, right around 12. I kind of lose count because the reps are getting that high. I'm just going until it burns, and then weight doesn't want to really move anymore. Trying to get hard sets. At a certain point, you start losing count. Shrugs, we did a 12s. My grip started slipping on the last one, so I racked it and unracked it and squeezed out 2 more. Now, a lot of times people are going to go, why don't you just strap up and not let the grip? Because I still get big without doing it. People have always said that for my back for years, and look at my lats. Again, lets my grip stay strong, lets me build my forearms, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I am trying to not use any supportive equipment. Just not a fan. I don't think we need it. Don't want it. Don't want it in my training. So here, finishing up with 3 sets of rear delt raises with just plates. Doing these at the very end, making sure those rear delts get finished off. Same idea, trying to turn that pinky up. And again, just doing these till they burn and then don't want to really move, which is around rep 15. So again, very, very much where I want to be, I guess. I think I got more than that on the final set because I went ahead and took it to true failure. I went ahead and took it to failure. But again, just my final exercise. So making sure we hit the rear delts, finish everything off. So it ends up being 12 sets for delts plus the shrugs, so about 15 work sets. Call it a successful day. So very happy with today's workout. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time, and you guys can finish up watching the last set or so here.